Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Utopia Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for post Battles of Legends Chapter 1. Whether you say this is the update for March or April 2024 or for post Battles of Legends Chapter 1, we got the reprint for the Astral Utopia in the Battles of Legends Chapter 1 set. So seeing all of the reprinted support in the new Battles of Legends Chapter 1 definitely made me want to look back into Utopia to rebuild the deck, focusing on as much of a pure variant as you could, because we do have a lot of different Utopia monsters that can go for a full extra deck to utilize with the Utopia deck, and then using those cards along with the support we've gotten with the reprinted cards like the Utopia you see here, Utopia the Lightning, and plenty of other number cards from the Battles of Legends set to bring an update to it. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. We'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For our Utopia monsters, we're running 3 copies of Utopic Onomatopoeia. It's always treated as a Zubababa, Gagaga, Gogogo, or Dododo card. During main phase, you can special summon up to 1 of each Zubababa, Gagaga, Gogogo, and or Dododo monsters from your hand in defense position onto the field. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except for XYZ monsters, which isn't really a limit because we're only running XYZ monsters in the extra deck to begin with. But this card is just meant to set up what the main play of the deck is supposed to be anyway, and that is to make XYZ monsters. We're also running 3 copies of Astraltopia. If a Xyz monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard to add 1 XYZ, Onomat, Zexal, or number spell from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Astraltopia once per turn, so whether you're searching out your numbers, spell, or trap, or your Onomat spell or trap, you have a wide variety of cards to search for with Astraltopia, and then just being another easy special summon onto the field if you have an Xyz monster. You can even use that Xyz monster, like let's say it's a Utopia monster with no more Xyz materials. You can then send that card off to get the other search and then make a whole new Xyz monster. And then also running 3 copies of Zubababa Gancho Gagaga Coat. This card also counts as a Zubababa or a Gagaga monster, so making it very versatile with cards like Onomatopoeia. If you control Zubababa or Gagaga monster, except for Zubababa Gancho, and this card always being treated as them, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you can target a Gogogo or Dodo monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which could also be one of the cards that you send off of Astraltopia to gain another search, and then just being able to use Zubababa Bancho to summon it back onto the field. And then you're locked into Xyz summons, but once again, really not a limit for this deck. And also running 3 copies of ZS Ascended Sage. If you control no cards, you can special summon this card from your hand. A Utopia Xyz monster that was summoned using this card gains the effect. If it was Xyz summon, you can add 1 rank up magic normal spell from your deck to your hand as I drop all the Utopia extra cards onto the field. They just want to be Xyz summoned that badly using the Ascended Sage. It's such a good card because once again, it can just search out your rank up spell, because then you can grab cards like your rank up magic Zexal Force to then be used with the Ascended Sage later on with its Xyz monster. You can only use this effect once per turn, but that's really all you need for the play to begin with, because then you'll have the added search and rank up to then go into your many different rank 5 Xyz Utopia monsters. And then also the 2 copies of Dododo Dwarf Go-Go-Go Glove. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 Zubababa or Gagaga monster from your hand, so it's meant to work in tandem with Zubababa Gancho to summon onto the field. If you control a Go-Go or Dododo monster while this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field, which you can get around that banish play if you just use it for an XYZ play, because then it'll go to the graveyard as a material, and you won't have to worry about any of the other setup that you can do otherwise with this card. So very, very useful to get around that initial setup thanks to this card once again on the field. And also for some of the lower numbers for our Utopia monsters, the 1 copy of ZS Armed Sage. If the only monster you control is a level 4 monster not named ZS Armed Sage, you can special summon this card from your hand, and also have an Xyz effect. If it's Xyz summoned using this material, you can add a ZW monster from your deck to your hand. We also run the 1 copy of Astral Karibo. Revealing a number Xyz monster in your extract to special summon this card from your hand, and then have this card's level become that monster. It gives us more of an option for the rank 4 plays for special summon, and then also it cannot be destroyed by battle with or by your opponent's card effects for the Xyz monster for your use with this card, giving you extra protection to your Utopia cards as well. For the ZW monsters, or the Zexal weapon monsters, 1 Pegasus Twin Saber, 1 Lightning Blade, and the 1 Tornado Bringer for all the different equip plays, but also being able to utilize their search power with the rank 5 cards like ZW Dragonic Halberd or ZW Leo Arms. And that is it for the main deck monsters. Moving on now to the spells. Running 3 copies of Onomato Pyra. You can only activate 1 Onomato Pyra per turn. Send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to add up to 2 of these monsters from your deck to your hand. And you cannot add 2 from the same category. Zubababa, Gagaga, Gogogo, or Dododo. So the fact that your Onomatopoeia counts as all the categories gives you a search there, and then just being able to grab from one of the other categories gives you needed access to your search plays, just having a very good option for the search, giving you your 2 needed materials for your summon. Also 3 copies of XYZ Import. I really do love this card in the deck. It's just a quick play spell targeting an Xyz monster you control and 1 monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to it. Attach that card to your monster's material. So you can just take your opponent's monster and keep your XYZ material alive. My favorite play is to use it with the Astral Karibo, because then if you've used up a Utopia with the Xyz material, as long as you have the Astral Karibo, you can at least use cards like XYZ Import to gain the additional effect, keeping the Astral Karibo and protecting your Utopia on the field. And also the 3 copies of Onomato Pickup. When it's activated, you can add 1 Onomat card from your deck to your hand, except for Onomat Pickup, so just being a great search for Onomato Pyra. And then also, you can target 1 Zubababa, Gagaga, Gogo, or Dodo monster you control. All monsters you control currently become that monster's level until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. So more level adjustment for some other monsters you may have on the field. It's not as needed. It's mostly just used for the Onomat search. I also run 3 copies of Zexal Construction. For the last of the 3 EVs that we run in the deck, reveal 1 card in your hand and add 1 of the following cards from your deck to your hand, then shuffle the reveal card into the deck. It could be a Zexal Weapon monster, a ZS monster, a Zexal Spell or Trap, a rank up magic spell, or a rank down magic spell. So just more search options, just needing to take a card from your hand, which could be a multiple of some of the other spells we run, and then grabbing one of the more needed or one of the one-ofs that we run in the deck to our hand also. And then for the one-ofs for our spells, the 1 copy of Double or Nothing. Really great for the negate attack option with Utopia to then be able to use this card on the field. The Zexal Force, rank up magic, the 1 Generation Force, if you control an Xyz monster, being able to add an XYZ card from your deck to your hand, so just another way to search out cards like XYZ Import to your hand. The 1 copy of XYZ Change Tactics, since you can only control 1 to begin with as well with this card, and then the 1 copy of Hyper Rank Up Utopia Force, using a rank 9 or lower Utopia monster to special summon 1 rank 10 or higher Utopia or Utopic Xyz monster from your deck by using that monster as material to go into some of your boss monsters like 99 Utopia Dragonair onto the field also. With the last of our spells just being the 1 copy of Reinforcements of the Army, we run a good variety of different warrior monsters, so just having another search on top of all the other spell searches we have. And then for the traps, you can run infinite impermanence. I really do love numbers protection, though. You just, when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated, while you control a number Xyz monster, which will be most of the time with this deck having so many number monsters. Negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. If a number Xyz monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card's in the graveyard, you can set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You're going to use 1 number protection effect per turn, so you'll use the option for either one of the recycle plays, but still just having a counter trap that can take care of a good variety of cards your opponent may have while just needing to do the actual play of the deck definitely does come in handy. Now moving on to the extra deck. As I said, I wanted to stick with as pure of a Utopia extra deck as I could. The 1 card I'm missing for the deck, but I'll show you what we can take out for it, is Utopia Double or Nothing, or Utopia Double, because you do want to run it because it has the Double or Nothing search. But before we get to that, 3 copies of the original Utopia. It's just one of the best cards to overlay into. It has so much versatility with other cards in the deck as well, being the go-to rank up play, and then just extra protection when you overlay and have a negate option, along with cards like Astral Karibo. The 2 copies of Utopia Rising for the additional recycle power this card can do to target a number of Xyz monster in your graveyard, except for Utopia Rising, and special summon it in defense position. So then even if you get a Utopia monster on the field with no Xyz material, you can use cards like XYZ Import to at least refresh that card with some brand new Xyz material thanks to Utopia Rising. Also the 1 copy of Utopic Sage and the 1 copy of S39 Utopia Prime. If you wanted to put Utopia Double in the deck, you could take out 1 copy of Utopia Rising for a copy of Utopia Double. For our rank 5 monsters, we can run the 1 Utopia the Lightning, just another one to Xyz summon using a rank 4 Xyz Utopia monster. The 1 Leo Utopia for the option for this card, and Utopia Ray for our rank up Xyz play, and then also being able to use the Zaxel Force for it while we save our Utopia Force for our bigger Xyz monster, but also Utopia Ray Victory, and our bigger Xyz monster being Utopia Dragonair as well, being able to special summon a monster from our X deck with a number monster that has a number between 1 and 100. And my favorite target to go for this play is still number 38, Hope Harbinger, just having a spell negate in the deck on top of all the other cards we have and our counter trap negation. And for the Zaxel weapons, as mentioned before, the 1 copy of Dragonic Halberd and the 1 copy of Leo Arms. And I also just love that we can have a pretty pure Utopia deck, not running any other generic cards, and then just being able to rely on our Utopia monsters to begin with. But as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as I said, cards like our Onomatopoeia, just when it's activated, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. So it could just be 1 random card in our hand. It can even be 1 of the Zaxel weapons that won't do much for us unless we have a Utopia monster. Adding the Zubababa and the needed card, which Onomatopoeia can count as those cards also. So then you summon out your Onomatopoeia, then you can use the special summon effect of this card, summoning out your Zubababa coat on the field as well. And then with this play, you have the setup for your rank 4 Xyz play, being able to then have the additional play. If you had any other additional monsters in your hand for this card, you have the special summon option for your summon of your card, being able to target a Go-Go or Dodo monster in your graveyard for the special summon onto the field. Or you can just go for the Xyz play as well into your needed Utopia monster. And that's where the play definitely comes down to. Like I said, it's a very simplistic deck with your plays, focusing on just getting out your Utopia monster. Then if you have the detached play to negate an attack, having cards like Double or Nothing in your hand, or using cards like our rank up spell to go into some of the bigger monsters. It's a very easy deck if you're just learning, to pick up Xyz play. I definitely do recommend the Utopia deck because the plays are just very, very simple and easy to learn. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.